day after the Canada First rally down at Queen's Park, October 25th, yesterday, October 26th today, and I just want to recap and provide a follow-up to other footage that I've seen on YouTube this morning and last night. My video has been posted, and I'll put the link in this video as well. But I just wanted to go over my first impressions of the rally. It's the first time I've been to one in Toronto, and it's the first one of these Canada First rallies I've been to. And you know, the following is the group following is ever increasing. I understand that, and it was a pretty good turnout yesterday. The videos don't fully capture the scope of the attendees. After watching more footage, there were more attendees on the Canada First side than I initially thought. So what I captured on my video was pretty much a stationary area in Queen's Park. Then it ended up over on the eastern borders of Queen's Park, I think on Queen's Park Circle. And then we went across the street, I believe up by the museum a little bit, the Royal Ontario Museum. But I didn't get much past that. A large faction of the Canada First rally started to go mobile, and they started to march, and eventually they went down Bloor Street, which on my video I caught up with them again on Bloor Street. But then they continued they continued east over to Yonge Street and south on Yonge Street. And then they ended up at Dundas Square. My mistake. It's called some African name now. Mayor Chow and her Chinese Communist Party handlers made her change the name. So it ended up there, and it was peaceful. Like I said in my video yesterday, I believe only 2 people got arrested on the counter demonstration side. I don't think any Canada First people got arrested, but I also noticed on other people's videos that Fred Hahn, the former I think it was CUPE vice president, he got handsy with someone down there on, I think it was an independent. I don't even think it was a protester on either side. I think it was an independent person that goes out with a film crew. I'll put the person's name up on this video, and he got handsy with, I think, the videographer of that crew. And the guy's a deranged lunatic. Like the XX and XY chromosome must be having a fist fight in his brain, because this guy is a strange dude, and typical of a lot of people that support whatever nonsense they support on that side, their delusional take on life. They are aggressive. They're verbally aggressive, and they're physically aggressive. And I went down there yesterday with my friend. And, you know, my friend and I have known each other literally since kindergarten. There's a picture of us in kindergarten together. And we had one point where we looked at each other and said, if there was 5 to 10 of people like us, like we're older now, we're 56 years old, but if there was 5 to 10 people like us, even at our age, we could go in and we could sort that crowd out. I'm not even joking. They are delusional. If this ever push comes to shove, and what I mean by that, if it ever ends up in more of an aggressive physical way this movement is going, like, I understand people get into fist fights, and I've seen many videos like that between Antifa and people that are patriotic. I understand that, and I've seen the fist fights, and oh my Lord, I don't think these people understand what could potentially come their way. If you get a couple people that are not alien to physical altercations and have been in many physical altercations over their life, whether it be in bars, whether it be on street fights, whether it be professionally trained in MMA, in boxing, or any sort of martial arts discipline. And I'm not saying that that the people at these counter demonstrations, they don't possess those skills, but it would appear to me that if they do, a very low percentage of them possess skills that would be beneficial for them in a physical altercation. And I'm under no illusions that the way that the Liberal government has pitted people against us, or against each other, I should say, I have no illusions that someday is going to happen. There is going to be mass civil unrest in the streets that is going to be violent, especially in the big cities, right? If you have any sort of background in prepping, you know, in a SHTF situation, shit hits the fan situation, you know, the city's not the place to be. So am I under the mindset where I'm going to go out in the middle of the street and start banging it out with people, having fist fights with people? No, that's not my mindset. But getting out of the city and having to encounter something like that until I get to my spot out of the city, yeah, there's a possibility for that. And, you know, I'm fully aware of that. Hey, I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy in the world. I'm not saying my friend that was down there with me yesterday was the toughest guy in the world, but we've been in a lot of jam-ups. We've been in a lot of violent situations, and we just looked at each other and it's like, oh my Lord. Like, you know, there was over 200 police there. That's what I want to touch on too. There was over 200 police there. I go down there and I look at their tactics. I look at what they wear on their persons, their tactical gear, and obviously it's going to be the best, pretty much the most state-of-the-art tactical gear that money can buy, because cost is really no object for those people. And the amount of tactical gear that they were carrying, like no one was carrying a long gun. I seen 2 police that were carrying, I believe they're 40 millimeter. Less than lethal rotary cannon guns. They can shoot bean bags. They can shoot tear gas, I believe. Less than lethal weapons. I've seen 2 cops with those. They're intimidating looking weapons. And but no long guns. They are all carrying their sidearms, and they're wearing their drop down leg bags. They're wearing their chest rigs. And what was very surprising to me, because this is, like I said, this is my first time I've been down to one of these rallies within the city of Toronto. What was really surprising to me was that paramedics from Toronto EMT and the Toronto Fire Services were all tactical up too. They were wearing the same tac gear as the police, but they had, you know, obviously they had their Toronto Fire identification on and their EMS identification on, but they were standing front line hand in hand with the cops. They didn't have guns, but they were, if you're just panning the crowd, in which I got very close many times to the police, and I panned the crowd. You can see it in my video. It's very clear. You would just think they're police from a different jurisdiction or whatever. How you doing, buddy? What are you doing? What are you doing? So, you know, and then there was one time in the video where I was filming the mounted unit. I think there was 8 horses there. I would imagine some of those horses actually seen some action in Ottawa, because in Ottawa at the Freedom Convoy in 2022, the horses that you seen on the 3rd weekend there trampling people were Toronto police horses with Toronto mounted cops on them. So if you didn't know that, you know that now. So when I was filming the horses, a bunch of EMS, a crew walked by, and their backpacks were massive. I haven't even seen these type of backpacks before. So obviously they're very expensive backpacks. I have a little knowledge with that. And they were tacked up like, I don't know what they were expecting there yesterday. I really don't. But also, it's a training mission, right? It's a training operation for all the first responders, because, you know, they train for larger protests, and they train for mass civil unrest. And so it was a training exercise, and they use the Canada First rally as justification for bringing out that many first responders. Like the overtime pay, I couldn't even hazard to guess what that would cost to get all those first responders out there. They're all wearing similar long sleeve gloves. I've seen the gloves before with wrist protection. There was one black cop on there that I pointed out, I think 3 times. The guy was huge. The guy was a massive dude, and at one point he was even like, you know, it looked, he was like having body convulsions, like he was flexing underneath his specially made uniform. He reminded me of Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Universe. Yeah, so that cop, he reminded me of Ronnie Coleman when Ronnie Coleman, I think he already won 2 Mr. Universe competitions, and he was still a cop. I think down in Florida. I'm not exactly sure, but no, he was okay though. Like the cops, I have to admit, the cops, the interaction that I seen were not bad. They were okay. They, like I said in my video yesterday, they did their job. They kept people separated. But it was, yeah, that for me, like, you know, that's one of the reasons I go down to these things. I want to see their tactics as well, and I want to see their mindset, how they behave. And I notice they have a lot of They have liaison officers, which is good. 2 liaison officers stuck with Joe Anjahar, Puck Daddy. They stuck with him, and I believe I guess they had 2 assigned to him, and maybe the other side had 2 assigned to that lunatic Freddie Hahn. I probably need 4 or 5 to. Yeah, so the police, they did okay. Maybe people, that go to these and that are, more anti-police than myself, maybe they see it differently, but I didn't have a problem with them. And they had a lot of, actually, they had quite a few women there, police officers, that they were pushed to the forefront. And I caught some interaction with them. I had one of the little, she was short. She actually, pushed me pretty hard from behind, and that was unnecessary, but I didn't care. I just find that comical, really. Now, if that big black cop did that, well, I know I would take that a little more seriously, but, unfortunately, and I understand that the female cops have a tough job, more so than a man. They have to overcompensate, I believe, at times, because people don't take them as seriously. And, that's just the way it is. I don't. I don't take a female cop as serious as I do a male cop. That's for sure. But a lot of the policing now is changed. Has changed since when I was young. I grew up in the era of yellow cop cars, and I knew the cops' names from 12th Division, where I grew up. So yeah, so the police, in my estimation, did an okay job. So in closing, I wish I would have went on the march with them, number 1. Number 2, I met a lot of people that I knew about down there. Mad Lab Press, True North Transparency, Film Mission. I follow those guys on YouTube, and I actually introduced myself to all of them. And it was good interaction. It was a good group of people. It was a smaller version of the Freedom Convoy in February 2022, which I attended, like I've said many times. And I like being around that mindset. And like the white supremacists, the racism, the the Islamophobia, that's all a bunch of nonsense. There were many people of different backgrounds, different races in our group. So it's a bunch of nonsense. It's just all propagated talking points, just to slander the patriotic mindset of a lot of people, and it's all by design, right? It's a well orchestrated. They're a well funded group of people on the left. They even had the Steelworkers Union there, which I was surprised. There were 2 flags from the Steelworkers. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I expected Fred Hahn there, like that weirdo that he is. I expected him there. That guy's like a lunatic, but he's very reminiscent of the mindset. He's a caricature. He's like a cartoon character of like a poster child for the left. He's a prototypical leftist liberal lunatic. But anyhow, if you got any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave it in the comment section. And like I said, I'll put the link to my video from yesterday in this video. 1 degree in Toronto, hence the thicker toque and the thicker gloves. It's a little cold out today, but it's nice and sunny. Enjoy your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.